Welcome to Bluegrass Brooklyn, our podcast all about the music we love, straight from the Bluegrass borough of Brooklyn, New York.
Let's have a party, let's have a time, let's drink some whiskey, let's have some wine. Big ball in Brooklyn, big ball in town, big ball in Brooklyn, we'll dance around.
Welcome to Season 4, Episode 2 of Bluegrass Brooklyn podcast. My name is Liz Wolfe.
And I'm Mike Wilner.
And we are very excited to share with you a wonderful conversation Mike had with Avery Ballotta of the cool trio group Damn Tall Buildings.
Fascinating discussion. And we get to speak with Phyllis Elkind, a homegrown and locally known, well-known artist here in the New York area, who you may not yet know about, but we think you should. So what's going on with you, Liz?
Very excited. If you haven't already heard, the Jam Jersey ticket site is now live.
Ah, yes.
So again, March 20 through 22 in 2026. Tickets are on early bird special right now. You can go to jamjersey.com. We will not run out of tickets, but we might run out of hotel rooms. So highly recommending that if you are planning to come, buy your ticket and book your hotel room now. So what's going on with you, Mike?
Well, first of all, I'm very proud to announce that Ear Trumpet Labs, the makers of ear trumpet microphones, is now a sponsor of Bluegrass Brooklyn. And if you've seen them, they're beautiful, the ones with the halo shock mounts and the round, brass colored, and they're great. And they're also handcrafted and highly engineered. You can check them out at eartrumpetlabs.com. We're very happy to have them on board. I also want to mention that the Coat Drive Jam at the Strong Rope Brewery in Red Hook is on November 20th. Come on down, bring some lightly used warm winter clothing. You can do charity, you can have potluck, you can jam, everything we should love to do. Finally, our Patreon site will be going live very soon. You'll see an announcement on the various social medias once it's up. You'll be able to go there, support the show, get some goodies. It's going to be fun. And by the way, the intro music for this episode was Big Ball in Brooklyn by Damn Tall Buildings from their new album, The Universe is Hungry. So that's about it for me.
I would like to remind everybody to follow us on our social media at Bluegrass Brooklyn, spelled BKLYN, and to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with everyone you know that loves bluegrass as much as we love it.
Absolutely. So should we get started?
Let's do it.
All right, let's roll. So here we are with Avery Ballotta from Damn Tall Buildings. Avery, thanks for taking time today.
Thanks so much for having me, Mike. It's really nice to be here.
All right, so before we get started, I have to check your Brooklyn credentials.
No,
So
I'm working on it. Yeah. I've been in Bed-Stuy for 8 years.
that's great. I think that qualifies you to get on the show, so we can now proceed.
Thank you.
All right. So first of all, the name of the band. Where did that come from?
We all started the band by busking. We all went to school in Boston, and we're on the street when we weren't in class, playing tunes and stuff. And that's how it formed into what it is today. That push against corporate path that is inherent in busking inspired us to find incredible inspiration from one of our favorite John Hartford tunes, In Tall Buildings, which is this incredible 2-verse ballad about that exact feeling. So we added the damn as this forever statement of we're going to just do this.
That explains how the band came together, but it's a lot of stress and strain to be in a band. What kept the band together for 10 years?
Yeah, totally. I would say that we're all very fortunate to be friends as well as bandmates. We're all very legitimately tight-knit. Max and Sasha are married, so especially tight-knit, but that only happened in the last 3 years. now we've been together for 13 years, and it just feels the commitment that we have for the project itself is one that we have all chosen and have been very honest about choosing it with each other and what that looks like moving forward. So we keep very open communication and a lot of love behind what we do. And still, because we're like love each other like family, that means that like we can quabble whatever we need, and it remains healthy.
You have an album this year, The Universe is Hungry. Is that right?
Mhm.
Great title, by the way, and great song.
That's right. Thank you.
But that's not your first album, is it?
No, it's our 4th studio album.
Wow.
Our last one, we released it in 2022, I
Mhm.
believe. So we're due. We're feeling due. Because we've been playing on the road so much that we really sat down last year and the early part of this year and put together just in that short off time on the road that all musicians know and love.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. It's a tough transition from the bandstand to the studio. What is the transition from the freeway off-ramp or street corner to the studio? Tell us a little bit about that journey.
It was an incredible teacher, for sure, of performance and also connecting with the music and connecting with the audience in the same breath. As artists, we find ourselves sometimes being able to connect with one or the other
Right.
really well. And I think busking in particular kind of demands that you are able to find your place in both of them.
Yeah.
So I think that has definitely been well translated onto the stage. And then from the stage, we use one microphone and we all play into it in that classic bluegrass style. And we use that same technique as the bass line for our recordings as well. That I would say is that pipeline of being able to use how we perform anyway with the mic and find that same comfort in the studio because it's the same mic. It feels like home.
Yep. It's the bluegrass shuffle, right? Where you got to get to and from the mic and back away.
Yeah.
It's very cool. We got a chance to speak with some folks at Crossroads Recording in Asheville, and they were talking about the problems with wrestling a band that may use one mic or even be totally acoustic and wrestling them into the live room there where they've each got an instrument mic, a vocal mic, and all this other stuff, and just making that change. But you guys did the smart thing, you sidestepped that. Tell us a little bit about your bandmates.
Max Capistran is a guitarist and main songwriter in the band, and Sasha Dubik is bass player, and we all sing. This record features Sasha in the lead a lot, which we're all very pleased about. And that's really fun. And then we do a lot of harmonies. Love blending the voices. And the two of them started a music school in Crown Heights.
Right.
They started it in their apartment and then were able to move it to a great public commercial space just a block away from them. And it's called Crown Heights Music School. And it's awesome. Adults and kids and everybody, whoever is around and wants to.
I want to talk about the music school. Before we get there, I'm always interested in the song selection. You have 10 or 11 tracks on the album?
I think 10, yeah.
What goes into figuring out which of your 1,000 favorite songs you're going to pick out and put on that album?
Totally. I think that we don't really necessarily go into the writing process or even like production curation process knowing exactly what it is right away. And I think that has been consistent across the board for all of the records. And this one is no different in the sense that we had these new songs that Max had written that were all tied to each other. I think if you look back at anything you create in any way, you kind of like realize that there's a through line of you in it or a through line of what you're going through, etc. All these songs really fit together. But we realized it as we were like, what should we record? You have to ask that question, just like you did. It's we had to sit down with these songs and be like, okay, I think this would be cool and we can definitely do this. We had to think about how we would record it, if we had an idea for what the recorded version would be. And I would say that it just got more and more exciting creatively as we made this record. Like we were having a really good time exploring and then having a good time realizing what it was becoming.
How long is that process?
It depends on when you start. If you think about the songwriting process, like there is one song on the record that Max likes to call our oldest new song, which our newest old song or whatever.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's basically he has had this idea around and a version of this song for 6 years, but then just recently wrote a really nice very, very complimentary chorus to it, and it just felt right. So then that's true to our collaboration too. We know we trust each other and each other's gut. So when it comes to that kind of stuff, we all felt like, oh, this is cool now. We've always liked part of this song. Now we like the whole song. Time to put it on the record. So I think that was the only one that was like, that's from 6 years ago. But then the whole process of recording and everything and production, I would say recording probably took maybe total a month and a half. We were fortunate enough to be able to record in Max and Sasha's studio because it's beautifully set up to be acoustically nice. So it was really nice to be able to do that on our own time. I think a big part of like other projects where you're going into another person's studio where you're paying for studio time, it can put a different kind of pressure on it.
Right.
Where I feel like the lack of that pressure did a lot of good for this record.
Yeah, I feel that the album is very personal and it comes through. I'm just curious, is there one song on that album that you would say, that's the one that really speaks to me or moves you for whatever reason? Not a fair question, I realize.
Well, it changes, which is a good sign, I think. There's a lot of really catchy things on this record that often trade off spots and getting stuck in my head. So I think that whatever stuck in my head is the song of the day to answer that question.
That's actually a pretty good answer. I think that's typical for me also of albums I love. I'll be humming one song one day and a different one the next day. Are you touring now? Are you getting to stay at home or what's going on now?
At this very moment, I'm back in Brooklyn, which has been really nice. We've all been back for at least a few days. I've been back for a week.
Great.
Which has been really nice. And then we're back on the road and then we're finishing up. I think our last dates for the year are the end of November in Colorado. So, and then we're back at it in January. So we'll have that little time off and it'll be nice to be like doing some more from home stuff for the record. This time last year, we were getting ready to record it.
So tell me a tale of the hyper glamorous life of the touring band.
Oh man, the hyper glamour gets blinding sometimes. It's a very unique life. You know, it's not for everybody, as I'm sure everybody has said, but I'm grateful because the three of us tend to really do well in it. Like as we grow older, we're definitely more aware of the toll it takes on the body and the mind and stuff like this. But again, being friends and being able to make space for the travel self and also be able to try and solve problems or discomforts that might be easily solvable. I'd say that's been a very evolutionary thing for us because it is such a ultimately hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And we love to eat. We get out and walk a lot. We always find if there's a body of water, we love a river walk. We get out there. So like anytime we get to a new place, that's one of the things we either do first or immediately after sound check or whatever. So I think that those things like definitely, I would say that adds some nice glamour to it because nature is amazing across the globe. And we really enjoy getting to be able to experience a lot of it. It can't just be all about the gig and you expect to enjoy it, I think. I think it's important to have that balance.
Yeah, I can imagine. So let's talk a little bit about the music school. Are you involved with it at all?
I am involved with it like a proud family. I get to do things there occasionally, and especially when it comes to helping out. I was very pleased to be able to add hands where I was able to.
Yeah.
They were getting it together, but it was very, very much their endeavor, and I'm very proud. I would say that my role in it is just like being proud.
Proud uncle, there you go.
And it's amazing that we have gotten to use it to record the record, and then also we were able to use it in a music video recently as well. So it's been proving itself to be a wonderful investment.
How many students do they have there? Do you know, or approximately?
Oh boy, at this point they have 3 other teachers that teach there as well. So I want to say across the board, it's definitely over 100. It's been 3-4 years in the making of building a studio, and now that it's in that space, it's perfectly suited for it.
Having a neighborhood music school is a luxury in this day and age.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it's so cool because I know that a lot of those students are really within a 20-block radius.
Right.
Which is pretty sweet.
Yep. I know every place is under pressure with this kind of thing. We recently lost Sam Ash, probably one of the most venerable musical retailers. And something,
Totally.
I'll say something like over 50 years ago, when I was learning bassoon in junior high school, I was able to walk into a
Yes.
Sam Ash and say, I need bassoon reed making equipment. And they had it all, like under the counter. Where on earth do you walk into a
Yeah,
store?
totally.
Here's your bassoon
Yeah.
reed making kit along with some blank reeds. And anyway, but so it's great to
Yeah.
see a little bit of brick and mortar presence reestablishing itself in the music world.
Absolutely.
You guys just got back from Saudi Arabia?
We did, yes. This was the second cultural diplomacy, cultural exchange program we've done with the U.S. State Department, and through an organization called American Voices. This is an arts envoy program where we were able to be invited to come out working with the U.S. consulate in Jeddah. And then we were there for, it was kind of a short and jam-packed time. I think we did 4 days of programming and got to play with local musicians, which was really fun. We did one of our songs, and we did an Arabic song called Layla La Bagu Layla, which is like a very famous, beautiful, beautiful song. But back there playing fiddle, and it was great. We got to play with so many great folks, and then we did some like workshops and stuff like that, where we got to meet a lot of younger musicians who are very interested in continuing on. It was really exhausting, but so wonderful and worth it.
Sounds very rewarding.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Were you introducing your music or a particular genre, or just music in general?
All of it. Definitely, we were encouraged to play our own music, and then we were really one of the few live examples of bluegrass that's been toured around there. That was plenty of it, as well as just sharing bluegrass and sharing a tradition. And that's often what really makes the connection with the local musicians in these scenarios so special, is because like folk music is truly just such an easy language to communicate in. And the traditions of melody and rhythm, and from there harmony, and then harmony is achieved so quickly, and it's just so fun. We're always amazed by that truth, because you prepare as best you can, and then you get in there and it's like, oh, of course it works. How could I forget? This is how it works. So yeah, so that's, I think, probably one of the best elements of just the really fulfilling time we had over there.
Yeah, music is the great unifying force in the universe. This is
Really
the truest thing. So you've done other cultural exchange type of things as well? I think this is not your first one.
Yeah, so we did one other one in 2023. We went to Ethiopia. We went to Addis Ababa for 10 days, and yeah, it was also great. We mostly played with one musician and his band, and got to go to their cultural center. We got to be a part of the soft open for that, which is like so special. So like very, very connective, and a really wonderful time. And his name is Haddis, and he plays the masinko, which is a traditional Ethiopian instrument that's like a gourd body with single string, and then a heavy bow. And Haddis is just a great masinko player. He goes by Hadinko, that's his artist name. And we learned this Ethiopian song that he wrote, this tune called Lagase Abdi, which is a tribute to Haddis's like mentor in masinko, who's one of the greatest like folk carriers of it down in the Oromo region. So we got to learn a lot about that and really take on this wonderful tune. And the Moseb Cultural Band agreed that we could play it on the record and record it. So we put that on there, and they had us record the masinko in Addis. And I love that we can do that today in technology.
Yeah, that's incredible, right?
So wonderful to me that we can get masinko parts from Ethiopia just on the record. Yeah. It's really great. And Haddis did a great job, and we're really honored to play that song. And so happy that that's on the record, because that's definitely something that we love doing, is these kinds of cultural exchange programs. It's even more profound than we really could expect.
So directly including music from your cultural exchange adventures is one way it's impacted your musical presence in the world. But Is there any other way this cultural exposure has informed your music, your repertoire, your playing style?
Very much. Oh, definitely. Because again, when that moment of connection happens in that universal communication, that's the moment where then we're learning from each other.
Right.
It's like truly a conversation where it's, oh, I'll never be the same after this. I'm taking in and processing what's going on. And I found myself thinking about, and I was talking with one of the artists we got to play with. His name is Majed Mohammed, and he was playing the oud with us for a show, but he is also a violinist, and he and I were trading the fiddle back and forth and just like geeking out about stuff.
Nice.
And he was teaching me about how he aims for microtones, because a lot of their scales include quarter tones, basically, which is really interesting and cool. Because like I definitely love messing with microtones unknowingly. Like I know it and how it feels, but not the theory of it. So it was really fun to have that connection. So yeah, so basically that's a good example, I would say, for me, where that's the most recent thing that I have been thinking about since then, every time I've been picking up the fiddle and feeling a new sense of fun, exploration, and comfort.
Yeah, I just started my bluegrass journey a couple of years ago, and foolishly enough got absolutely hopelessly hooked on the fiddle. It was mostly bluegrass type music, and then I got my ear opened up to Western swing and then Cajun, which is a whole cultural and musical exposure I'd never had.
Yeah.
Completely different pace of play, completely different attitude in the jams. Just everything was different, but just very comfortable. Oh, speaking of jams, so do we see you guys around the jam circles in Brooklyn or in New York, or are you just too busy?
We have unfortunately been too busy thus far. I think if we are around for more than a week, maybe you'll see us. We definitely do try and make it out whenever we can. And thankfully, we're fortunate enough to see our fellow bluegrassers in the scene and in other contexts and other things like that. And so hopefully more. But yeah, we're really grateful that it is such a thriving scene. That's one of those things that we talk about all the time, as far as that, okay, if you go to New York and you're a picker, it's like you're set. Like, I'll give you all the where to go. Sorry, I can't be there.
That's right.
I will definitely send you to the jam. So, which has been cool. I know that there are folks that we've seen on the road that have taken advantage of that and really appreciated it.
So let me put you on the spot for a second. And
Sure.
If I asked you to carve your personal Mount Rushmore of fiddle players, I know there's probably 6 dozen, but and they don't have to be the most talented or the most skilled or the most recent, they're live or dead, it doesn't matter. But the ones that mean the most to you, what 4 would you select, and briefly why?
Oh,
yeah, another tough question, right?
Okay, well, I guess I'll start with the easy one, which is Vassar Clements is probably my number one.
Yep.
And I think part of that is because I heard him first, like from a youth, I think. He was definitely one of the first recorded fiddlers. I was like, oh, that's the fiddle.
Yeah.
And then from there, I love it. And I definitely listen to him and feel that kind of lean in my playing. So I'd say Vassar, definitely.
That's one.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I'm going to put Daryl Anger up there.
Yep.
And Bruce Molsky, both of them, because they're both very dear to me personally as well as inspirationally.
Okay.
Daryl was definitely someone I listened to because he did this record with a friend of mine named Phil Auberg, and it's a beautiful jazz record. And that's like how I discovered Daryl. I connected with Daryl's playing, and then many years later, got to learn from him, and
that's great.
Really nice. So those two, great example of kind of same coin, two sides approach to fiddling. It is so hard because there's so many incredible fiddlers of my peers that I want to toss in there. I think that, so hard. This is really stumping me.
Well, I don't want to make your life too miserable. So if you want to, take a pass and leave that one uncarved for the moment.
Yeah, that one's uncarved because I like to think about the future.
But isn't that wonderful? There's just so many great musicians out there that there's too many to pick from, and that's, I think that's a blessing.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next for the band? You're going to be touring. Do you have another album in mind or maybe EP or something?
From this recording process, one of the main things we got from it was that we really enjoyed getting in the flow of it. And we're like, oh, we can just keep making records. Now that we have this kind of settled feeling in a way of knowing the process really well, we're able to be like, okay, cool. So yeah, I think we're going to definitely tour this record, and we'll be spending time all across the States and then sometime in Europe as well.
Nice.
And which will be really great. And then, yeah, just keep recording stuff. I think we're going to probably do one song at a time recording approach and then probably compile them. We'll see how that goes. It depends on what we're feeling.
And where can people find out more about the band, your online presence or Instagram or?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. We got our website, damntallbuildings.com, and we're on Instagram. We're probably the most active on Instagram. We get a lot of like video and visual stuff. And so, yeah, you can search Damn Tall Buildings, or the handle is Graham Tall Buildings.
Okay.
And we're Facebook. We have a very healthy YouTube channel, and boy, what else? We're on all the streaming. And on CD and vinyl.
Vinyl made a comeback. I'm sorry, I got rid of my turntable. I'm going to buy one now.
Yeah, I know. I'm feeling the same way. It's time for me to upgrade.
Yeah, there we go. Alrighty, so Avery, thanks a million for your time. It was a real fun conversation. Really glad to meet you and get to know about the band.
Likewise, Mike. Thank you.
All right, take it easy.
Yeah, you too.
Hello and welcome. I'm very excited to have Phyllis Elkind on with me. She is a woman in bluegrass. She's a homegrown, locally well-known personality here in New York City and in Brooklyn. She's a singer, she's a guitar player, she is a teacher, and she's here to share with us some of her journey. So welcome, Phyllis.
Welcome, and thank you.
Okay, so many people listening will, of course, know you. You've been in New York City all your life.
Not in New York City all my life, but a good part of it.
Okay. And currently a resident of Soho. But you certainly have gotten your way around into the music scene here in New York City. So tell us a little bit of how that started for you.
I have always played music and always sung music, and has always been the way that I made friends, and it has always been, for me, a social occurrence. And I've always taught. I started as a teacher. My career was in technology, but even within that, I taught, actually. But I have always sung with people. I had a women's rock band, Freddie and the Drumsticks. We were active for 25 years at least. And we started from the school where I was a teacher, but actually of everything I've done, had the most fame with Freddie and the Drumsticks. We were on NBC in a long piece about us. We were on Japanese news. We were on CBS, because it's so unusual to them, apparently, including Katie Couric, that we were women in our 40s with careers who still enjoyed just going out and playing music. That somehow was remarkable to people. And I know, Liz, that that's not remarkable to you.
That is for sure.
Yeah, so it is really funny. I mean, we had someone who was a stockbroker. I was a computer software engineer. So I've always played music with people. And I was, for many years, in a trio that recorded 2 albums. So I've always done music. And a friend once said, let's go to Patty Riley's. I said, what's that? It's a bar. I went down there with her. She played fiddle. And it was, for me, people I can play with. And I love singing. And it was, I know a million songs. I knew one bluegrass song, Love, Please Come Home.
Okay.
But I knew many, many, many songs that were all the roots of bluegrass, Carter Family, all the songs that kind of fed into bluegrass were my genre. I've done many different styles of music, mostly always about harmony. I'm kind of a harmony junkie, just really into harmony. And that, of course, is a major component of bluegrass singing. Tony DeLillo, who ran Patty's Jam for many years, he was tremendously supportive. So here's to you, Liz, and to all the people who run these jams who welcome people in, because it really became just a main part of my life. And I've always been grateful to Tony for that.
Patty's is such an incredible institution of bluegrass.
But Patty's was a great jam. I'm going to be teaching a class on Hazel coming up, the Brooklyn Folk Festival. So I've been reading about Hazel Dickens. And something I really connected to, Hazel Dickens was a song collector from her whole life. She loved finding songs. And if I have a thread in my life, my whole life from childhood, I have collected songs. I've always had piles of songs. I love finding songs that I just relate to, and I learn them. And one of the things that brought Hazel Dickens into the bluegrass scene more quickly is people always said she had such great songs. And that is something that has given me a lot of entree, is I know a lot of music, and people like that.
Yes. Well, I like it for two reasons. I'm learning a new song when I hear the songs that you do. That is definitely something that I would say that my experience of playing with you at any jam is you play songs that I don't know. That's also a wonderful resource for us to have in our community.
And when I was in my trio, where I performed quite a bit, I like finding out about the song's history. And also I teach harmony classes where I always teach about, I might teach a class about a particular group, like the Monroe Brothers or the Delmore Brothers. So I learn a lot of the history. If you haven't figured it out, I'm a bit of a nerd. I loved technology. I wrote a book about database. That was a big Macmillan published book. So, I mean, I love learning about stuff. That is a huge part of who I am, so.
Well, also, it's very important to collect those songs. In terms of the history, you know, one of the things that they talk about is how there were these historians that went and collected these songs, and it was a very important thing. A lot of those songs would be lost to us if they hadn't done that.
Absolutely. I talk about A.P. Carter, who was, the song collector of the Carter family. And he brought so much music to us that really could have been lost.
Well, you mentioned performing. I know that you perform with my friend and your friend Gene Yellen, and also bass player Sam Dallas.
Yes, the sentimentals, because I'm the least sentimental, I would say, but Gene is really a softie. So that was sort of how the name came about, that he always loved these songs that were very sweet. And then I also have performed with Bill Christopherson, and we still get together pretty often, if not weekly. And he's a wonderful, wonderful fiddler. And then I guess, I like going to jams that are sort of semi-performance jams where there is an audience, at Matilda's or Mona's. And my favorite is I often am a guest with Sheriff Bob at his medicine shows, which are held in a drugstore in Soho, and they are priceless. It's one of my favorite places because it's just, the audience is so lovely. It's people who live in the neighborhood, but people just come by to listen, and while you're singing, someone might come behind you to get a tube of toothpaste,
I've heard about that, but I've never been to that. I have to go. Please let me know when you're going to be doing that again.
They do it the second, fourth, and if there is a fifth Tuesday, they're at 6:00, and it's the Thompson Street Medicine Show because it's the Thompson Street Pharmacy that hosts them. I just love doing that. I like performing. I do like it, but I almost like the rehearsals more than the performance. I like working on the music. I like really getting it really good. I like really getting the harmony exactly right. Not just correct, but the best choice and all that. So in some ways, I like being in the group as much as I like performing, because by having a group, you'll rehearse.
Now, question for you about that is that my experience at jams is that so much of them are focused on the instruments, the picking, the breaks, and not very much is focused on the actual singing. So I was curious, has that also been your experience?
It depends a little bit on the leader. I would say like Michael Dave's jams, he loves singing and he loves singers and he loves harmony. So you're always going to have great opportunities there. Yeah, I think you're right. In a larger jam especially, you're a jam leader. It's an interesting choice a jam leader makes. If the number of people who get a turn to take a break on any particular song, it's a mathematical computation, equals how many people will get a chance to sing a song.
Yes.
It's a seesaw, right? they're in
Yeah.
relationship to each other. Especially some songs are actually not meant for lots of breaks. Because sometimes people will sing a country song in a jam. They're just not meant for lots of breaks. That's not their fabric. But especially if it's a big circle, it's kind of painful waiting till that comes around to you again.
I now say in every jam, beginning, middle, and end, I will say the same thing. It is not bluegrass law. Not every single person has to take a break on every single song. And there are people that feel bad that they did not give everybody a break. And I say, you're going to lay awake at night thinking, oh, I've missed giving Phyllis or Liz a break. But they're not lying in bed at night going, oh, I missed taking a break. Because over the course of a jam, everybody gets a chance to take a break.
Yes.
At least once or twice. And plus, it brings the song down. To do more than 2 breaks at a time, 3 max. If you're on to 4th or 5th, the song is going to start dragging. And so I really wish that we could bring more of that mentality in to these larger jams.
Yeah, the singer has a lot of control over that, of course. And the singers just have to learn that they can control that. And as you say, no one's going to be mad at them, because the point of the jam would be to keep track of who has had breaks. And of course, try to give the break to the person who hasn't had the chance.
Right.
Jams are an art. When I was leading the slow jam at Patty's, I said it's like throwing a party. There are different kinds of parties, and the same rules don't apply to all of them. So when it's a very large jam, you might want people just everybody sing along, but you have to be aware of where you are. And there may be times where you get to have a jam where it really helps. Let's just have one person on a harmony part, because then I get to really hear the harmony. And then maybe you even walk over to the person who's singing lead and really sing next to them, just for that moment of that song. You know, if you're at a jam and there is a very well-known player who's in town, let's let them shine a little bit, you know. One thing that has changed for me in my music life is I really, having loved kids and I sang with kids, I was one of those birthday party people, you know, mostly relatives, but I got hired also, you know. So I really have done a lot of singing for people. And my thing was always, oh, I don't need to be the best at all. This is about just community.
What I think it comes down to is what people value. So I value singing very highly. So a jam, even if there's the best musicians there, I mean, obviously I love listening to really great pickers, but if no one else in the jam wants to sing, I'm not going to have as good of a time. So that's where the difference comes in for me, and where do I have the most fun and feel the most welcomed and the most useful. And I want to be useful to a jam. It's not just about, I love that when people give me breaks because I can practice. Just as you said, I do want to get to be a better musician, but where I'm most useful is to be able to support people in singing and getting better and learning how to sing. So what is next for you then, Phyllis?
You know, next for me, well, I am most certainly concentrating on guitar right now. As I said, I taught kids for a long time. I mean, it was a long time ago, but it was an important part of my life. And I have a son, so I really understand how a kid learns to read. And there's a point, if you have kids, where they go, boat. Or they go, oh, they recognize their name. And then in one moment, there's a magical thing. They're reading. I feel like I'm on the verge of guitar breaks. That I'm learning the scale, and I'm working on my technique on my fiddle tunes, and I'm trying to use my ear. But the next thing for me is I want to be able to feel that I can let my creative part have the pleasure of creating breaks. Not just, oh, I managed to go dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, but to find a musical way to respond to a song. So that is my big focus right now. And it's hard for me to not teach a class and not take performing opportunities. But unfortunately, guitar and many things, you gotta just sit down and put in hours. It has to be a kind of a daily thing. And so I'm trying to keep wanting to do other things, and I'm trying to balance that. But that's my next big want in music.
Yeah, there is a lot of joy that I feel like I miss out on because I'm not able to really express myself that way, and while I watch other people do it. So I applaud you for that. And you're right. It's a daily practice. Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, getting to know you a little bit more and seeing you around the jam circle coming very soon, I'm sure, and I hope. So thanks for joining.
Wow, that was a really interesting conversation with Avery from Damn Tall Buildings. I was especially fascinated by his band's effort to engage in cultural exchange and meet musicians from other cultures. It's really fascinating.
It's fascinating the influences that we're having on bluegrass from all these different places in the world.
Yeah.
It's really a wonderful thing. And actually, I got a big kick out of where they got their name from and the fact that they started out busking and yet feeling that corporate pull. So I think any musician out there is, there's always those damn tall buildings.
Yep,
that
that's
you,
right.
you hope that you won't get sucked into. So.
Yep, and it was great to meet Phyllis and hear her story and get her point of view on jamming and singing. I did not have her pegged as a rock star, though, but it was great to hear from her.
So don't forget to follow us once again. Bluegrass Brooklyn, BKLYN. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. So friend us, follow us. And of course, you can like, subscribe, and share this podcast.
And don't forget, if you want to find jams in Uptown Manhattan, Bronx, or Riverdale, visit bluegrassjamsnearme.com. I think that about wraps it up, Liz.
That's it. See you for the next episode.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to seeing you around the jam circle. And to take us out, we have Blue Bayou by Damn Tall Buildings from their new album, The Universe is Hungry.
I feel so bad, I got a worried mind. I'm so lonesome all the time.